Okay. All right. I'm excited to start AR, VR, and EDU chat tonight. And we are going to have fun because we're going to be essentially making 3D objects in Tinkercad, which has been around for a little while, and then seeing how we can push that out into Object Viewer with Merge. And now that Merge has done a huge update to their app and all the functionality in that, we're even going to see how we can take those concepts and even adjust and modify them in Object Viewer and how easy we can share that. So we're going to do this together, which will be fun. We're going to make some name tags. We'll make a little bit of content here. We're going to talk about what you can do in Tinkercad and then how to easily export that out so that we can view it in Object Viewer and begin using it immediately. So I see Denise and Linda are already in here joining us. And Denise is already linking in some of the cool stuff that her kids are already begin making. Looks like a school logo, which is awesome. And what I'll do is inside of our chat, I'm going to go ahead and link my class for Tinkercad so you can join my class. That way I can easily see what you guys are building at the same time. Since both of you have accounts, that's good because you'll be able to join my class as students using this link. But since you already have an account, it will be like another class. You're not having to start from scratch there. And let me go ahead and give you that link and you'll be able to join me. You guys, again, feel free to pause me, stop me. And when I see that you two are in, so what we're gonna do is, the first thing you're gonna do is click on that link in Tinkercad for you to join my class. That way you don't have to type in that whole code. And then I'll also assign you both just your first name. So I'll have one titled Linda and one titled Denise, so that you guys are both able to join in my class. So I'm going to make that right now. Go ahead and go back to my class. Now I will tell you that I have already created this class. And Linda, your nickname here is just going to be Linda, all lowercase. And same with you, Denise.
Okay.
So it's going to be Denise, all lowercase. So both of you, as you join in with nicknames, just make sure you put your full name lowercase. It doesn't let you have any uppercase in your nicknames, by the way. So
okay,
be aware of that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you putting the link to the class in the chat window so we can join that way?
Yeah, it's in our chat right now. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and paste it again. My default is to panelists. Thank you. Let me make sure I get that out to you guys. There we go. So when you click that link, it automatically kind of bypasses you having to type in a long code, because Tinkercad, you know, most everything else is like 5-digit codes, maybe 6-digit, and Tinkercad's like 100. I don't know why it's so long, but I suppose it's because a lot of people use Tinkercad. You know, there's a lot more uses, so they're going to have a long code, but with it being a direct link, it makes it a little bit easier. How are you guys doing on that link? Katie's in. Mark's in. Hello, guys. I'm going to allow you both to talk, but feel free to just keep it muted if you don't. It says ask to unmute, but just so you guys know, feel free to keep yourself muted, unmuted, you know, so that you can just join in and chat.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Mark?
Awesome.
Very cool. Have either one of you, so Katie and Mark, have you guys ever done Tinkercad before?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Rochelle's in the house. All right.
My students do Tinkercad.
Oh, okay. Have you ever created in it?
Not yet. I think we might be doing that tonight.
Nice. Very cool. Okay, so what we're doing is I'm just having you join my class. And for Mark, Rochelle, and Katie, I'm going to add you as students. And the nickname I'm giving you is just going to be your first name, all lowercase. So Rochelle, it will be Rochelle's name and all lowercase. That's all her nickname is going to be. Katie, same thing. No numbers, no capital. Mark, same thing. And you all have been added in my class. So when you click that link, it will kind of bypass you having to type in the really long code for you to, you know, join a class kind of another alternative way. Now, I will say other like CoSpace is inviting to your class, or going in even with Merge, you can go to a certain place, you create an account, you have this code that you're automatically logging in with. Tinkercad, you can essentially do the same thing. You can type in that long code, but because it's so long, it's easier to hit that link. And once you get in, it's going to require you, as you're joining my class, to use the nickname that I provided. So you can't start my class until I've actually put you in as my student. So it's a little bit different, because in other classes, you share out that code and everybody can join in. You just don't have any idea who they are. In this case, because I see you all as attendees, I can easily just type that in and have you in. But keep in mind with your kids, you're going to want to make sure you put in their names or whatever you want to do for their usernames that would make sense for your class. Rochelle's saying she's been working 15 hours. No worries, Rochelle. I just left. I'm giving you all the option to ask questions in case you run into any problems. Was everybody able to join in? Perfect. You know what? You guys are all smart enough to figure out the code for Zoom. So I think we can all figure out Tinkercad. And what I'll do is I'll share, and if you guys noticed why I did that is because you put out your link on Zoom and you're asking for trouble, especially like somebody that maybe isn't aware of the chat, or somebody that doesn't speak English, for instance. And so they're gonna have to make sense of that concept. And I never share that kind of stuff because I did this very last minute as far as the link goes. I felt safer to do this. Of course, with attendees on here, I can obviously kick them out, but it makes it a little bit easier to go through when we're on Zoom than trying to just explain all of this inside of our chat. So now that everybody's in, you're gonna have a chance to create content. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the designs that are being built right now. So what I'm gonna do is screen share on my end so that I can pretty much show you guys what I see from the teacher side, for those of you that haven't used it on the teaching side, and just use it on your own. So I can already see right now Rochelle's in there. She's creating some concepts there. Now, I will say that the reason why I started this was because my nephews were in CoSpaces and they kept trying to build things with the shapes that were available because they couldn't find 3D concepts that they were specifically trying to make. And so what they ended up doing was saying, okay, well, let's just take the shapes in CoSpaces, which made me thinking like, oh man, that was really cool how you made that. I never thought about making some, like they actually made people out of just the basic shapes in CoSpaces. And I thought, well, that's a skill that you need to have. And what better place to go start designing 3D concepts than Tinkercad, right? So you can really kind of get the concepts there, start building in there and getting more advanced in what you're creating. So if you notice inside of my list right now and my students that my nephews, Jace and Jaden, have been working on their own concepts right now that they could not have inside of CoSpaces, which I thought was pretty cool. So if I go into that tank, then I'm able to check out what he's building right then and there. Now, Rochelle, on the other hand, is already designing and building something right now. So if I click on that, either I can take that concept and kind of download what she's built, or I can even go in and start tinkering with her. So this is kind of cool because the concept of CoSpaces is there to where we can build together. As a teacher, that I can go to my class, my students' classes, their creations, and I can start building with them. I can move things around and adjust and modify. So when I choose copy and tinker, it's given me a chance to go in with Rochelle and live, we can actually build together at the same time. So I'm going to take this box. I clicked on it once and I tap it in there. Weird thing about Tinkercad is you kind of have to move the cube over in the top left corner. It's kind of different. I like grabbing the plate and moving it around, but I always forget, oh no, not here, I can't do that. And then you can modify things similar to many other 3D, 3D sites, creation sites. You still have your angles that you can build. You kind of want to angle yourself on the plate to have more options and modify things as you want to adjust. And right now, whatever Rochelle's creating, I'm creating right now with her. Okay, so we're able to build. If you notice up at the top, it gives you kind of this funny name. You can go up there and change that at any time. It won't really matter what that title is for us right now, but it might be nice for you to just title it your name, since this is your page that you're designing. And then I can go back out to my dashboard and see what other people are creating. So I see Rochelle in there. I'm curious who else has already been able to get in and start building. I'm going to show you guys one design too that I've made inside. So this is kind of my designs that I've built. And this is something, if you also notice, that I copied and tinkered with Rochelle's design. So it shows up in my designs, my recent designs. And then I can click inside of something that I've just recently done just for demo to show you guys how this is done. And that is view in 3D. So that is using instead of just having text, I used some of the elements that were available to us in Tinkercad and made my name. I found some of, different items that obviously aren't letters to develop something, just a basic heart, put a basic heart in here. But then I drew kind of their doodling option, a star, and was able to add that too, which is a really nice feature to be able to actually draw in this space and upload into places like CoSpaces or into Object Viewer. So I think that there's some opportunity there in having these 3D objects created, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm going to go into the class and I'm going to do this with one of your designs here. So if you could see the students in here, I can look at your designs by just coming right here next to students. And I see Denise and Katie in. Perfect. All right. If you guys have not made it on yet and you have a question, feel free to unmute and just pause me and say, hey, Jamie, I'm trying to get in. What do I need to do? Just let me know. So as you guys are getting in there, I get a little bit of a preview of what's going on. Oh, Denise, is this your logo that the students made?
Yeah, actually, it's a scalar vector file, an SVG file.
Yeah.
So it's any kind of SVG file you can download and then upload. So they sort of cheated a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a lot.
They added a little loop on it. I think we use this for Christmas tree. We decorate it with our school logo when we're hanging them. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I have one printed at the classroom.
And check this out. Rochelle titled hers Cats. Does that surprise any of you guys?
You got to refresh it now. It's different.
Ooh, mini cats. Okay, I'm going to refresh it and see what's going on here. And as you guys are going through and adding some stuff, I see a few of you guys still going. Perfect. Mark's in here. Awesome. So I just want to point out how we were able to build together. But as the teacher, I can take any of your files and I'm going to show you the process that you can then push this out to Object Viewer really easily. Because the obvious is, let me download this and then let me import this. So I'm going to export it out. I'm going to have the document on my computer, and then I'm going to have to upload that into Object Viewer and go over that whole process. I'm going to show you pretty easily how the integration with Merge in Tinkercad, which I didn't know existed until I was messing with this the other day, is now available. So Denise, I'm going to go ahead and use yours because that's pretty awesome. And I'm going to choose Copy and Tinker, so we'll both be in there together.
Okay.
When that loads, the process you and I can go through, okay? So the first part is, do you have an account with Merge? Now, if you guys don't already know this, Object Viewer, I know I went through this a little bit yesterday. Here's my class if you wanted to join. And I changed this often. I actually just took out 111 people that were in there today from my training and just took them out and archived them. So I can do this for different trainings. I can refresh my code so that when people come back in, they need that new code to join in. So when you use the code, then you're given access to Object Viewer with 50 uploads. Now, without the account, you're given access to 5 uploads. So those 5 uploads is still pretty awesome, because once you take one off and re-upload a new one, then that takes off that one and lets you place another. So it's just 5 active 3D objects inside of Object Viewer that you want to view. And you don't have to keep them all active. So even with a free account, still gives you lots of access, which is really cool. I asked for a bunch of uploads because I figured I'll be doing this quite a bit, of course, in trainings and such. So I said, hey, how much can you guys give me? And they said, well, let's see, how much will you need? And I said, well, let's just do 500 and see what happens. So obviously that's not something that I'm super concerned about uploading in here for you guys. But inside of the Merge dashboard, this has, of course, the resources as an individual for Object Viewer and Explorer. It shows you what's in there. It shows you how to upload new objects. But inside of Tinkercad, here we are. We have her design, which is awesome. And I don't know, have you tried to change the color or thought about changing the color? What is your colors for your campus?
Our color is teal.
Okay.
So it's like a teal and black. And that's the thing, I had struggled. I got one color, but that was about it.
I don't know. Is that close enough, you think?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. And so once you kind of have your design ready to go, I made all of my different colors so that you can see the process of what that looks like too. Once you're done, now normally you're importing stuff from like other 3D files, maybe you're pulling in from any other files that you have, 3D files that you want to upload that you've got from other websites. Exporting it out is the typical, right? So if you want to 3D print this, you can 3D print this. If you want to export it out, just so you guys know, an object file is the way you want to go if you want to export this out for CoSpaces. So say you want to have a creative design inside of CoSpaces that you then can code and do all this cool stuff with, you can do that in your object file right there. And then of course your 3D print, lots of different options depending on your printer and where you're going to be printing to. There's certainly quite a bit there to work with. But what we're going to do that's different is go to send to. And right here, now I don't know when this all began, but I know that the integration with Tinkercad has been around maybe 6 months or so. So I did not realize that Object Viewer is actually integrated in Tinkercad. So you can even use it with ZSpace if you have a ZSpace set up and have that out there. Kai's Clan, huge integration. So there's quite a few things you could do with that. That was actually something I used not too long ago when I was building some stuff. By the way, next Wednesday, I'm doing another webinar, free webinar with Kai's Clan, and they're giving away big prizes. So I will be sharing that out here tonight. Hopefully you guys are able to join in that webinar. And then Object Viewer right here is all we're going to select. And if I continue to Miniverse, which is where we do the upload, which is essentially, you know, now our dashboard. If I continue to Miniverse, then it automatically loads this right now into my files, as long as I'm logged into my account. So this is really nice because as the teacher, I can come in here and display all the students' content inside. So I'm just going to change this to Denise. And I can even edit 3D settings. Now this is fairly new as well. So if I go over here to edit these 3D settings, there's a couple different things that I can adjust as far as where it's kind of located in the space. If I want to move it and adjust it a little bit, I can do classic rendering. I'll be honest, and if any of you guys are experts in what you're doing and building, you can come over here and do some really cool stuff. Whoa, is that yours? That is not yours. I may have grabbed the wrong object. Let's go to finish. That should have been your object. So I don't know if that was just a demo object or not, but let me see what's going on with that. Yeah, I'm ready to save and finish. Fine, I'll save and then finish. Let's see if it'll let me do it. Or if I want to just X out of there, that was awkward. Okay, so this is the object that we just pulled in. I can come over here to edit this. I can keep it as the name, or I can update that. And then I can even change my thumbnail image by coming to edit 3D settings. Hopefully that doesn't do the same thing again. See if that loads correctly this time. And once it's done, it will show me and allow me to kind of adjust and modify a few of these rendering options, like the color. There it is. So right now in the PBR, we're going to go over to classic, and then it brought in the right coloring for that so that it looks a lot better. I can adjust, of course, and straighten where it's located. And if I come up here, I can even change some of the coloring that I have listed. I mean, all of this is like very new, like this wasn't even an option. And now I want to take the thumbnail photo and I can adjust and modify this. Whoa. I'm just zooming in and zooming out on my trackpad, by the way. Okay, that's good. So I'm just going to confirm. And it's snapping a photo. So my thumbnail, when I'm going to look at all my 3D objects, I don't know if you guys have ever had that happen, but sometimes like you don't save a thumbnail file for that and it's just blank. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to say done. And there it is. Now it actually gives me kind of a preview of what that looks like. That should say Denise, but okay. So here we are. There's her code. So that R65LPY. So if you guys have ever used Object Viewer, you would open that up inside the app. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share that for you. Let me stop sharing. And I'm going to mirror this on my computer so that you can see what this looks like. And now, there we go. So this is Object Viewer. We kind of went through a little bit of what this looks like now with all these categories. I'm going to come over here to the left. I can go to my objects because it's loaded inside of my account. But in your account, I actually don't have, you won't see this right now because it's not loaded in your account yet. So you're able to go in and say code search. And in that code search, you're going to type in R65LPY and then return. And so that's actually going to then download this object for you. You can actually view this in Object Viewer right now. And when I choose play, and then now it wants to find this cube.
Very cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a little bit bigger.
This must be fairly new because we were using, I'm thinking about it, we have a 3D printer and we were using Polar Cloud back up till about March, and then I haven't been in it. I have to admit, since the shutdown and stuff, I haven't been in there at all. So I think this is pretty new.
Yeah, check this out.
Oh my goodness, my school symbol all over the place. Very cool.
That is awesome.
It
Yeah,
is.
so it's really so much easier than trying.
It actually looks better on the merge cube.
I know.
Yeah,
Isn't that the truth?
it does.
It is true. I love it. Yeah, and you know, you can also place it in your space.
The name of the school looks actually clearer on merge.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's a lot harder for sure to see. But there it is. I can move that around. I can make it larger and smaller in my space. And now it's connected to my Surface if I have the right device. I then can walk around.
So as you only, for me though, like I have access to the Explorer app, but for this though, I would only be able to do 5 of these, correct? And I'd have to delete those off for those kids and then do another 5.
They each would have 5. So it doesn't necessarily have to be you. As a matter of fact, let me stop screen sharing.
So my students would have 5.
Yeah, they would actually be able to download their own objects. They would just share that code with you.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, what you want to have, and let me just stop screen sharing
You have
here.
to post the code on a Padlet or something like that, and then you can, as a teacher, you can, if you're doing this remotely, you could screen mirror and then type their code in and bring their object up.
Yeah, what you're going to encourage them to do is send to, and for them to go through Object Viewer through their own account. So all they're doing with you is sharing that 4-digit code. Oh, I can see right there, I needed to change it. But that 4-digit code right here and their deal would be all they need to share with you. And you can view that, you can view indefinite how many there are. So they each have 5. So it's not that you have to load every kid, it's that you let every kid load their own, customize their own, and then they're sharing that code. Now, if I had Merge available to me for my whole students, right? So say I've purchased the subscription, then I can go in and see what all my students have created as well. So if I come over here to my classes, it opens up my students in my classes. It shows me what all my students have created. So I can come over here into my class. It shows me what kids are inside my class and what they've built. So I can come over here to Jamie's student, and then I can go and see, let me move all this back out. Let me come over here to my students. Yeah. So I can go over to my students individually and see what they built. It shows it all. So instead of me having to wait for codes, I then can say, okay, what has Jamie's student created inside of Object Viewer? So as long as I was logged in with that account, I would see all the completed cards in Explorer, how long it took them to complete that. I can also come over to Object Viewer and see what objects they've uploaded without waiting for them to send me those codes. So, but without that subscription, then you would just ask them to send you that code, and they would follow that process themselves as far as Tinkercad goes, of just sending it out to Object Viewer to their own account.
Very cool. Thank you.
Definitely. Hopefully you guys are able to make some cool stuff, but I do want to show you that in Tinkercad, you can invite people to design with you. So if you want to have students designing together in 3D, this is a really cool way to make something like that happen, and then them see their work together inside of the Merge Cube. So that's it, guys. I mean, it's simple as that. I love the integration. I love how easy it is for them to build and create. And I just want to see if anybody has any questions. I know I see something in Q&A, so I'll just address it. Can you add the image to Metaverse? Yes. Once you've created anything in Tinkercad, you can actually download that as a 3D file. That 3D object file, you have, a couple different settings. Oftentimes you want to keep it in a zip format and just upload it as a zip format. But guys, I just want to kind of get your mind to think this way, because AR and VR is dependent on your students being 3D designers. They have to build that content of which they want to display in 3D through augmented reality or through virtual reality. And grabbing other people's library content is good, but it's not them. It's not their stuff. So to get even just like the future of where we're going with augmented reality, I mean, when we're thinking about Adobe Aero, when we're thinking about Reality Composer, uploading our own files, the new USDZ file format is going to be probably the most popular here to come. So I just, thinking ahead, this is something you guys definitely want to get your kids designing and building themselves. And now that you know that there's opportunity for them to do that, then they can upload into many different places that accept 3D file formats, which is enormous. I mean, I talk to you guys about that all the time. What 3D content you can load, take your own stuff and build it. Even Scavenger, they're working right now where you can upload your own 3D content into augmented reality scavenger hunts, which is huge. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity for us to take this concept and move it into many, many different other platforms. So great point. Any questions, guys?
It's so great. Tinkercad's free as well because so many things cost so much, right?
Right. I mean, if you think about CoSpaces and not being able to afford the subscription, but yet you look how much you can do in something like this. And you can do it collaboratively, and you can see what your students are building when you're in your class, which is super important and oftentimes the necessary factor of having a subscription. So I totally agree that this doesn't give you everything, but it gives you a lot. And to have a tool like this and have classes in here and see what they're creating and building, it's awesome. Pretty cool. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining in.
Well, the collaborative feature with students is great.
Yeah, and I know we stopped seeing Rochelle building at that time when I was adding some things in there, but it is something that we can both do at the same time. So I think that's pretty awesome. Any other questions, guys?
Thank you. This is some great stuff that you can do with remote learning as well as classroom learning. So for all of us that are going remote, this is something cool too.
I love that you brought that up, Denise, because I can't tell you how many discussions I've been specifically having with people that just getting on Zoom is not sufficient. You know, our kids could and should be developing content, that should be designing and certainly creating. So while they're doing things like this is really an opportunity for us to bring this back, whether we're in person or remote. This is a great way to get our kids built. And if you guys noticed, my nephews are doing CoSpaces and they're doing Tinkercad right now completely on their own. It has nothing to do with an assignment. It has nothing to do with me pressuring them or asking. All I did was open up the door and they're going in and building like crazy. So I just think that is a really good insight as to what our kids want to do and just opening up the door for them to do it. So thank you all so much for coming. I recorded this, so I'll share this out for anybody that didn't make it. But I look forward to chatting with you guys next week. Hopefully you guys will join the Kai's Clan webinar, which is going to be a blast. And I look forward to connecting with you guys again next week.